This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your afternoon safari. So we've just come out of tented camp and decided to turn right into the riverbed, and we found this troop of baboons. My name is Rowan. Behind the camera, I've got Owen Dowell. So we've just been watching them for a while, and you can see the big male, he's gone in for a drink. So there's a bit of a hole there. Oh, look, others are, don't know what happened there now. Something spooked the one. He started just running across the riverbed, and now all of them are looking in that direction. But it doesn't seem like there's any sign of a predator. Otherwise, all of them would be barking in that direction. If there was a leopard or a lion or anything that could harm them, they would let us know. For now, it seems like just the male's drinking. So he's got his entire body actually in that hole. And some of them are still looking back because they're quite safe there on the rocks. So this troop of baboons actually live in camp now that we have no guests. Sometimes there's a radio tower not too far from here, and they'll go sleep in that radio tower. Of course, very good spot to sleep because no leopard can climb the radio tower. So they'll be very, very, very safe. Quite like the way they hold their tails upwards, and then there's that kink and then goes downwards. But that's a very big male here that just came out of the hole. Emma says this one has a kinky tail. Emma, all of them has a kinky tail. Yeah, it's a very big male. We know him fairly well. He often used to come steal food at the lodge. Or bread rolls and a can of Coke or lemon or something. So easy to maneuver up those rocks. And the older youngster chasing the younger youngster. Seems like they are heading back towards the cell phone tower if they keep going up in that direction. It's quite nice to have them on the rocks like that. I think it'd be quite fun to be a baboon. Actually, to be honest, it does look like they have fun every now and then. They can swing on trees, and especially the youngsters often play with each other. See, that youngster might jump on the other one. No, I'll just watch him walk past. They're quite funny animals to watch, very human-like behaviors sometimes, the way they scratch each other or scratch themselves. Emma says, wow, I contemplate the life of a baboon. Okay, we're going to send you to David. He just also wants to say good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon and hello from Juma. We've just left camp and we are going to go out and see what we can find. It's great to have the kids watching this beginning of this afternoon drive. And remember to send your questions. You can send them to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. We'd love to hear from you. Look forward to chatting, discussing what we see this afternoon. It's a lovely afternoon, not too warm, not too cold. 25 degrees Celsius, which to us is pretty good. I think it's about 77 Fahrenheit, and it's the perfect temperature for a perfect afternoon drive. My name is David Hancock. On camera we have Alex. And together we're gonna explore. And here's a kudu cow, a female kudu just up on the left. Just over there. I'm going to stop other side of this bush. Here's a couple of them. 1, 2, 3. Nathan, age 10. Hello and welcome to the show. You've asked, have we seen any tortoises lately? And I have. Actually saw one on my way into Djuma when I came in a couple days ago. But I haven't seen any on drive recently. I'm gonna keep my eyes out. Well, this is a good start to the afternoon. We're gonna carry on and see what else we can search for. While I do that, let's send you over to Tristan.
Indeed, it's a very good start, David. If you have found an animal off the bat, hopefully that will be a sign of our luck changing this afternoon and us getting a few more sightings. As David mentioned, my name is Tristan. On camera, I've got BK this afternoon. BK, is it finally leopard time? Yes, BK and I are saying it's finally leopard time. We're going to find a leopard today. I've also changed my hat for a change of luck. I don't know, I'm not very superstitious normally, but I just decided something had to give and change after this morning's difficulties and all the animals being close but not close enough. So we have decided to change a little bit, and this was going to bring us some luck. So what we're going to do is we're going to head to our western boundary, and the reason why we're going to head there is because late this morning there was a leopard that killed an impala and then dragged it over the road into a neighboring property. So it came from Djuma to Arathusa. Now normally that would mean we would just leave it, but we wouldn't go back, because if it's not on our side and it's got a kill, it's not going to come back. But where the kill is quite close to the road, and I think this leopard went and fetched her cub, and so what I'm hoping is maybe they put it up in a tree, the kill, and one of them is sitting in a tree. So we're going to go and have a little look and see if we can find either of them. If we don't have any luck there, then we're going to go up a little bit and we're going to go to the northern side. There's a lioness that was trapped by hyenas this morning, and she's got a wildebeest kill there, and apparently there might just maybe be a view from our side of the wildebeest kill with the lioness. So there's at least a little bit of kind of hope. Gabrielle, who's 11 years old, no, I didn't get to see her in the end. Funny enough, what happened was we were told where she was, and then another car came, and we waited to see where exactly she was sitting. They said that they found the impala, but there was no sign of her, which means that I suspect she had already gotten up and gone to go and fetch the cub. And so that's why I want to come back this afternoon and see if maybe Kara is there. I say a cub, but it's not really a cub. Kara is almost a sub-adult now. She's over a year old. In fact, she must be almost 17 months by now, somewhere around there. So she's a big girl, but I'm sure she went and look for her and bring her back. Oh, look, mamba. There's a snake. Is it a mamba or a snouted cobra? It's one of the snakes. Oh, it's going off. Can you just see the grass moving, BK? Did you see it? It was a big snake. I just saw the back of it. You see it?
I know, I saw the back of it.
Let's just see, BK. Just keep the camera that side in case. Obviously, if it's a cobra, well, whatever it was, it put its hood up because it got a fright. And so, generally, snakes that do that are cobras. But mamba does have a slight little hood. I just don't want to drive in there and irritate it anymore. The last time I saw it, it was going kind of in this area where my hand is. But it's probably just trying to hide out. I think it was actually a snouted cobra. At first I thought it was a black mamba because I saw that like slate grey color of its back. But snouted cobras get it too. And there are quite a few of them around. The old name is an Egyptian cobra, is what some other people might know it as. Let's just see. BK, just watch carefully. Obviously, don't want to get the snake upset, but we're just gonna see if I could see its hood pop up somewhere. I think this snake is long gone, I'm afraid. Shame, it got a fright when we came past. And then quickly kind of ran away. Oh well. It's the problem with snakes is you don't see them until you're on top of them. They camouflage so well, and then the only reason I saw it is because of its head coming up. But I'm pretty sure it was a snouted cobra, which is awesome. I haven't seen a snouted cobra in ages. There used to be one that we used to see on Little Gowrie that was really cool, because snouted cobras come in two color forms. One is like a gray back with a yellowish kind of tummy, and the other one is what's called a banded phase snouted cobra, which is basically bands of gray and almost like a yellowy white that goes down its body. It's a really interesting morph, or an interesting color change, and used to see one on Little Gowrie all the time. It used to live on the same mound, and it was a big snouted cobra. So that was cool. I mean, obviously a lot of people are scared of snakes, but I haven't seen one in ages. Very cool. Maybe that's a good sign of change of luck. Okay, we're going to carry on. We're going to try and find this leopard for you guys and see if we can get a view. In the meantime, let's send you across to Rowan at And Beyond Dingala, see how his afternoon is going and what his plans are for the day.
Tristan, I'm crossing my fingers for you too, that we have a better drive, or more busier drive this afternoon. Anyway, so we left the baboons. Their usual routine would be from there to go into tented camp and to see if there are any rooms that they can raid, any bins, anything left open, see if they can get to any, well, food that's still lying around. Luckily, there is no one in camp, so they'll figure out very soon there's no food for them to be had. We've decided to drive the riverbed and see if we can find any elephants, maybe a leopard, or basically just anything coming in. Ashton, age 9, why do baboons and monkeys like bananas? Ashton, I think purely because bananas taste delicious. They like apples too, and lemons, and mangoes, and pawpaws. Actually, these baboons, I can tell you now, like literally everything you would like. They eat absolutely everything, Ashton. Literally everything. But I don't know why in cartoons they made monkeys and baboons always go for a big bunch of bananas. I know, I remember when I was a kid in cartoons, they used to just pop them out like that, and then the banana would pop out, come back in. It always made me hungry. Ashton, I don't know if the same thing happened to you. So I'm quite a big fan of bananas. Pedro, very good question. They are very cunning. So Pedro's asked if monkeys and baboons are smarter than other animals. And I think maybe the conception there is because they look a bit like humans. And so humans consider themselves very, very clever. So thereby, maybe monkeys and baboons should be clever as well. And they are. I can tell you now, some monkeys and baboons have outsmarted us in camp before, whereby we try lock our bins in cages. So, I mean, we've basically created Fort Knox. There's, you know, two latches, and we close it with screws, and then we've got a big elastic band going across, also closing the bin, and then wires going across to the other side. It looks like a treasure is hidden inside there, and they can open it. So definitely monkeys and baboons, maybe a little bit smarter than Sean and myself, but yeah, very, very clever animals, very cunning. Got old leopard tracks here, it seems like, but definitely before the rain. So Emma's just admitted that the monkeys outsmart the crew at Juma as well. Okay, so while we keep driving the Timavati riverbed, we're going to send you back over to David. Seems he's got some birdies.
we have found some very important feathered friends. They have since flown on, but what I can do is I can show you a picture of them, because it's actually a very important bird. It's called a white-crested helmet shrike. There was a little flock of them. And what's important about this bird is that in the Shangaan culture, which is the culture in this area, the native people group, when a flock of these birds flies in front of you, it's good luck in the bush. And on many occasions, it has proved to be true. So, I'll take it. Let's go see what we can find. Age 7. You've asked, will you see any baby animals? See any baby animals on this drive? And I'm sure we will. We saw a young kudu earlier, not quite a baby, but maybe we'll catch up with the elephant herd. They've got lots of babies with them. Perhaps a baby hippo if we head down to the dam, which might not be a bad idea. What's on the ground there? Looks like a bone of some sorts. Let me hop out and have a quick look. Let's have a look at this. See what we think it is. It looks like a vertebra, a piece of a vertebra, which is what's in your spinal column. I'm going to turn it slowly so you can have a good look at it. But it would sit straight like that, and through this hole in the middle is where the spinal cord goes, the bundle of nerves. That's very important for transferring information from the brain to the rest of the body. We have a similar spinal column, similar vertebra. Don't know what this might have been from. If I had to guess, maybe a wildebeest or a buffalo. Looks a little bit big to be a kudu. Impossible to really know unless you had something to compare to from that exact animal. It looks like it's been chewed quite a bit. This has obviously been lying here for a very long time. Must have been from a carcass that was taken down a long time ago. No doubt the hyena have gotten hold of it. You can see where the bone's been broken here. And then if you zoom in on that right there above my thumb, you can see how porous this bone is. And the proper word for bone tissue is osseous tissue. Osseous tissue. It's very porous. It's not solid. It's got little pockets in it, as you can see. Gabriel, 11 years old. You've guessed this might have been from a zebra. That's an excellent guess. Could very well have been an unfortunate zebra that became a snack for a lion or something like that. It's a very good assumption. Well, that was interesting. And I bet if we walked around here a little bit more, we would find some more bones. Just to prove our point, let's just have a check. Well, there's lots of other vertebrae here. I wonder if we can find something that's a bit bigger that proves our point, or proves what the species was. Might be hard when it comes to the end of a carcass. Hyenas will rip and tug and pull it in many different pieces and spread it all over the show. So if there was a set of horns, for example, it could have been taken far away. I'm not seeing anything else. Lots of vertebrae. But nothing else. We may never know the true identity of our bones. But Gabriel, I'll go with your guess of zebra. That seems like a very, very likely guess. Well, while we venture around a little bit more and see what else we can find, let's send you back over to Tristan, who's looking out into the distance.
I am indeed. I'm trying to see if I can see any sign of Shadulu, but there's no chance. Unfortunately, where the guys said the carcass is, there's literally just one bush in the way that makes us unable to see anything. BK, maybe you can try from there and just see. Maybe somebody can spot it when we use the camera. But there's like a little tiny, looks like a quarry in front of where the carcass is said to be. So I'm not sure if maybe, just maybe, she's moved it since, but she hasn't put it up into a tree at all. I can't see it in any of the trees. I've just been scanning around, trying to have a little look. I heard go away birds calling, and we've kind of been sitting patiently just trying to see any movement, but I can't spot anything. So it's essentially behind that bush is where it's supposed to be. There's a little thicket behind there, and they said that it's between that thicket and where we are was where the impala was this morning when they left, but no sign of her. So unfortunately, I don't know where else to go and look at this stage. The two big trees that are closest to this little thing, or this area, have got no carcass in it. They are both barren, so she hasn't put her kill in a tree yet, which means that it's obviously still on the ground. But because the sun would have come up at some point a little bit higher and moved since this morning, she might have just dragged it deeper under that bush, and that's why we just can't pick up any sign of it whatsoever. But yeah, nothing, I'm afraid. No luck. Just have to come back again later, that's all. At some point, you know, if she doesn't put it up into a tree, she's going to lose it. I also don't know how big this impala is. From what the guys said, it sounded like a young impala, which means that between two large leopards, if the daughter is also here, that could be eaten incredibly quickly. And it's not going to last very long at all, so she might not hoist it. It might have just been finished. I also am very, very sad because while we were driving, the spotlight unfortunately bumped and turned on, and it burnt my glove. So now my gloves have a hole in it, which is going to be horrible for my winter mornings. But luckily it didn't start a fire, but that's a nice hole in my gloves. I'm very upset by it. These were brand new when I started, so it's not ideal that my glove has got a hole in. It's been a testing day, I'll say that. So we're going to need something to be able to break our luck. Well, bad luck, should I say, because we haven't got any luck at this stage. Okay, we're going to carry on. We'll go bumble about and just explore for a while and then come back into this area later. And while we do that, I think I'm sending you up to Rowan. Hopefully he's going to have a lot more luck than what we've had so far today.
Tristan's having a disaster of a day. Guys, so we've decided to do a bit of birding while we're driving on the Simbambili River. And this is a pied kingfisher. So we've been waiting for it to drop into the water. So just to its right, actually encircling the rock that it's on is a bit of water. And so we were hoping that he would actually drop into water. Mind you, I'm saying he. Owen, would you just zoom in quick? Okay, so it is a male. You can see there's one breastband, and then below there's a slightly lighter, another breastband. So the males have two breastbands or black stripes below. But beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bird. And it keeps looking down every now and then. There must be fish in there. There's also a hamerkop that flew in from there. While we were looking for elephants, we just decided quickly. It's quite a nice bird to see, the pied kingfisher, even though they are quite common. We don't see them too often on Ngala, and you can see actually very, very pretty, black and white. David, I do not think this is related to a puffin. I can't imagine why they would be related to a puffin. Kingfisher in itself is a family, and there's actually quite a few kingfishers that could be found around here. No puffins in South Africa. Oh, it doesn't look like he wants to fish. We've been sitting here, cameras ready, waiting for him to actually start hovering above and then go diving in, hoping to get that photo, but no luck. Gabriel, on age 11, wants to know if all birds are predators. Gabriel, no, they are not. Some birds are insectivorous, some birds are carnivorous, some birds eat seeds and fruits. So not all birds are predators. But this kingfisher here, of course, eats fish, so he'll be a predator. Just did a nice little 360 for us. Turn. I think we'll let him be and continue up in the river. Actually go to the watering hole where we started off. Oh, he's looking quite intently now. Spot your fish. Matthew 13 wants to know if I can find you a lilac-breasted roller now. Matthew, if I have to look around, I can't see any. No, there are quite a few that I would be able to find on the reserve, but here where we are now, on the river, you tend to not really see them on the banks of the Simbambili River. But Matthew, keep tuned, keep watching, and if I do see some later on, I will find you. Oh, actually more and more birds coming in now. Some Cape Glossy starlings, a couple of doves, emerald spotted wood dove. Okay. Well, we're going to go to Clara Dam and see if anything is coming down for a drink. Maybe I can find a lilac-breasted roller on my way there. So Matthew, keep watching and I'll let you know. Emma wants to make this a competition. So Emma said I can send you guys over to Juma, see if maybe he can find a lilac-breasted roller for Matthew before I can.
Well, I will take that challenge. We did have one this morning, but I suppose it doesn't count. We'll have to try again. But just to kick off on the search for the roller, we've started with this beautiful eagle. Can anyone identify it? It's got a very distinct flight pattern, and it's getting very far away now to easily identify. The giveaway will be its manner of flying, also its short tail, Just circling, having a check of the earth below. It's obviously got excellent eyesight. And a lot of you have identified it correctly as a batelier. Very, very cool eagle. It's one of the few eagles where its Latin name describes it very well. That is Terathopius secaudatus, meaning beautiful face and a short tail. It does have a very striking face and a very short tail. But onwards and upwards, let's see if we can find a roller. Lilac-breasted roller specifically. Alicia, you've asked if any animals ever attack me, like birds of prey swooping down. Nothing with feathers has ever attacked me except an ostrich. Ostrich on a farm, a friend's farm when we were younger. That's kind of bound to happen. Ostriches are very funny like that. Actually quite terrifying, especially when you're growing up. They tend to chase you and they can actually do some serious harm. Ostrich is known for being able to severely maim people. When you're a kid, you kind of make a joke out of it and see how fast you can get out of the place. But in the bush, no, nothing. We don't really have birds of prey that will necessarily want to attack us here. The only thing that comes to mind is maybe like a magpie and Aussie. I hear people have to walk to work with briefcases over their heads because your crazy Aussie birds want to dive bomb you. It's actually quite funny. I just can't picture it. I suppose not funny if they actually hurt you, and I'm not sure how bad it is. I would very much like to see a magpie though. Well, we're going to continue on our search, remember, for the roller, the lilac-breasted roller, among other things. So let's send you over to Tristan.
Well, David, luckily you bet a lilac-breasted roller, because if you had bet a leopard or a lion, I think we would have been Hamid's game set and match by Ngala of late. We've been getting a bit of a hiding on that front. It's okay. We'll eventually get our justice, and we all know that Juma at some point is going to deliver a phenomenal amount of leopard sightings in a short space of time. It's just a matter of time, really, as to how long until it happens. Also, I must admit I was giggling a little bit at David about the ostrich. Miss Carell's grade 1 class, that is a very, very, very good question. I don't know why the animals are hiding. I think they're just being naughty. So we're going to have to put them in the naughty corner at some point, and they're going to have to be told off for what they're doing. No, I'm joking. It's more to do with the fact that there is a lot of grass at the moment, so the grass is very, very tall, and things like leopards can hide really easily in tall grass. And so even though, like back there, we know there's a leopard there, it's got a kill, we know the leopard must be close, it's just too thick for us to be able to see anything. And because it's not on our side, we can't go onto that property because it's not our house basically. We can't go and investigate and drive around until we find it. So we just have to be patient and hope that that leopard goes into a tree or something like that. Also, there's still a lot of water. So these little sort of drainage sections that you see in front of me here, inside these, the elephants have dug holes where there's sand, and that's got water, which means that the animals don't have to move to water holes, so we're not catching them walking as much. And also the night is very long, so when they're walking at night, they've got a long period to walk around, which leaves a lot of tracks and makes things a little bit confusing in the mornings when you try and track them down. So that's from the cat side of things. The elephants and buffalo and impalas and kudu and all those, they've been really good to us actually. We've seen a lot of them over the last few days. It's really just the leopard and lions on this particular side that have been a little bit tricky to find. That's okay. Like I say, some days it's like this where they're hard to find and they might be just off your property or where you can drive, and other days everything is on your side. So you've just got to be patient, you've just got to keep trying, and eventually the wind will kind of change and you'll start to get all the animals on our side. I know a few weeks ago Lauren was saying that she just kept bumping into leopards all over the place, and so it happens like that. You know, we're just going through a little bit of a down phase, and we know where a lot of our leopards are, and they're not actually on Djuma at the moment. They're off our traverse, which is just the way some things go sometimes, unfortunately. It's not ideal and it's not what we want, but it happens. So the nice thing about wildlife and nature is that every time you go out, it can be different. It's never the same. You don't go out and just be like, oh, well, I want to go and see a lion today, so I'm going to go and see a lion. It's not always that way, you know. These animals move themselves. They like to go into certain places. Some days they probably don't want to be found, and so they'll do everything they can to hide away. And so that's how it is. It's the best part about it, is that you just never know where anything could be. And, you know, we could turn this corner now and there could be a leopard in the road. It could happen. Kaylin, who's all the way from Ireland and is 10 years old, saying, don't feel bad, you're enjoying the drive with me. Well, that's very, very kind of you, Kaylin. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying having you guys along for the ride. I mean, it's not been all bad this afternoon. It seems like we've had a few interesting little things already, and there's lots and lots and lots of time still for something great to happen. So I appreciate it, and I think that we're going to have a good afternoon. I'm putting the positivity out there, and I think our luck will change this afternoon at some point. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to just quickly go past Sydney's Dam, see if there's any sign of the lioness there. While I do that, though, let's send you across to David, see if he's managed to find his lilac-breasted roller.
Not quite, not yet. I haven't seen a sign of one. I'm just quickly checking any tracks across the boundary. Nothing yet. Freya, 5 years old. You've asked, do we have any kangaroos here? No, we don't. Kind of wish we did. I think kangaroos are pretty cool. I've seen videos of them boxing like people. Looks very entertaining. Here's a couple impala. We had one impala ram sprint across the road. Here comes another one. Watch in front of us. Here he comes. 1, 2, 3. Doomp. Quick, quick. It's not a lilac-breasted roller, but up here on the power line is a oxpecker. That sounds relatively similar. Both oxpeckers and lilac-breasted rollers have very raspy calls. So it's a start. Remember we chatted about these guys yesterday, how they are often found around animals, was more than likely chilling on the back of one of these impala, getting a quick snack of parasites. Well, we're going to head back into the block. I just had a quick feeling to check this cut line, but so far just a couple impala. Only 2 rams. I'm wondering where the others are. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Impala. Caught it having a quick wee break. Let it finish up there. While we do that, let's send you back over to Rowan and see how his lick-breasted roller search is going.
You know what the worst thing is, Matthew? If I knew this challenge was going on, instead of turning left outside of camp, if I went right, I could have showed you 2 lilac-breasted rollers, because they're always on the little power lines. So what we've been doing is, I've been driving like this, and Ern's saying go left, go left, go left, so I go left, and then he says go right, go right, go right, so I go right, and that's how we've been looking for lilac-breasted roller, as you can see, to no success. But we do have the watering hole coming up ahead, so we'll see. I don't really think we'll find a lilac-breasted roller there, but maybe right before we get there. As David said, very raspy call, a very pretty bird, but not the most beautiful voice. But I guess you can't have everything in the world, can you? So maybe, I have seen them on this road before. Of course, I've seen like lilac-breasted rollers on every single road here before. See, the sun is a little bit starting to come out now. It's not really warmed up at all today, so quite chilly. Lily wants to know why the kingfisher had such a long pointy beak, and do other birds have the same thing? So Lily, it depends a lot on the diet of the birds. So you'll find that majority of birds that are fishing birds per se, like the kingfisher, they've got long pointy beaks, like your herons, stuff like that. But then if you have your seed-eating birds, they usually have very wide but strong beaks to crack open the seeds. So it depends a lot on the diet of the bird. So not all birds have the long pointy beaks. But it is very pretty. Well, we're coming up to the watering hole now, so maybe we'll see a heron or something like that, and you can see they also have the very long pointy beaks. Okay. So, Tristan found a giraffe. We're going to send you back to Juma. Sorry, my heart just dropped. I thought Tristan found a lilac-breasted roller.
We have found a giraffe. It's amazing. We found an animal. Look at that. Some spots, but not the ones we were looking for. Actually, to be honest, giraffe have been pretty hard to come by of late as well. This is only the second time I've seen giraffe in about 5 days. So I should not really make fun of this. It's actually really nice to see giraffe for a change. It's a female giraffe who's looking very, very nervous. I don't know why. There's 3 of them in total here, but the one ran away from us. This one is looking nervous. The one behind us seems to be for now. So we'll just see. Maybe they bumped into. That's why they were a little bit nervous of being in this area, because that lioness also where we are.
Terribly sorry about that. It appears that Tristan has yet another problem with his feed. He must be doing some serious bundu bashing for that roller. Ooh. I saw an enormous bum. What could it belong to? A big grey bum. Elephant. Have a quick look from here and then we'll make our way in. See it there, Alex? I think there's more than one, but we will have a quick drive in and see what we can find. And kids session is now over, so questions from all welcome, but kids still continue to send in your questions. We love hearing from you. Shall we go have a quick look, Alex? See if we can find a little path into Mr. Elephant. Short-lived. March, she's saying Ellies are always a treat. I agree. They're always just like a happy animal to be with. Obviously sometimes they can be not so happy, but we try and give them their space when that happens. Some of the viewers are wondering if our recent rainfall has had anything to do with the high number of elephants we've been experiencing over the last couple of days, and although they do like the rain, it's not generally per se that they're all here now because of that. We have a very high elephant population in this region, so it's a pretty good chance of finding them. Especially when you do have some rain and some good vegetation like we have here. It looks like a tuskless elephant, eh? You see any tusks there, Alex? No. Not even a little bit. Sure. Are you going to come and investigate us? He's a little bit weary of us. We mean you no trouble, boy. Just curious as to where your teeth have gone. Oh, now I can see they're both broken off. From the back there you can actually see they're broken off below is right nearly at where it goes into the skin. Shame, that's not very nice. Their tusks are quite useful for a number of reasons, digging for roots or piercing a tree's bark. So without them, Makes life a little bit harder, but he seems to be nice and fat, so I think he's doing okay. Well, let's turn around. Julia, you're age 10. You asked a very good question. What is that dripping on the side of the elephant's face? And that is a secretion. Just trying to work my way through the plants here while I talk. Not crush any. That's a secretion from a temporal gland. It's a gland like you have glands in your neck and in your armpits. We've all got glands, and elephants got many, many glands, and those glands are in its temple. And sometimes it secretes, it leaks like that. Kind of looks like it's just leaking out the side of its face. And we believe there are different reasons for that. Often with the males, it's an indication, big bulls like this, it's an indication of must. It's a period of higher levels of hormone that they go through every now and then. He's not the happiest elephant in the world, so we'll maybe have another look at him, but we'll give him some nice distance. You could see when he approached us, he wasn't too happy with us being there, so we'll just go slowly behind him here and see if we can have another look at that secretion. But you also get that secretion with females. And those secretions in females can sometimes indicate stress. Sometimes youngsters have it, and we believe it's also stress related or very excited elephant that have those secretions. Let's try and have a quick look as he comes through these trees here, this gap right there. He's angled away now, so we can't see those secretions, but it's been nice to see him. As we watch that big bum disappear again into the bush, let's send you over to Rowan at the waterhole.
Right, so we just got to Clara Dam, and as you can see, I mean, how absolutely magnificent is that? The reflection of the clouds. There's a little grebe swimming in front, and the little grebe also has a longish bill because he eats fish, like I was explaining earlier. And then further at the back, there's one buffalo bull just lying down, also enjoying the water in the late afternoon. Because there'll be a couple of hippos in this watering hole. Seems like at the moment they are all holding their breath, and I can't even see one. Just turned out to be a stunning day, really beautiful afternoon, and this reflection we're getting from the clouds is just phenomenal, really very pretty. Should be a very nice sunset. Hopefully we can find something cool to watch as the sun is setting. You can see the little grebe there. A very, very nice reflection of the grebe. In the distance I can hear a woodpecker, but not really anything else. So we're going to keep going. Leave the little watering hole. Nana, thank you. I agree with you. It is indeed beautiful. So we're going to head into the east to where we were this morning. To that big open clearing. See if any of the zebra, maybe some giraffe are around. Maybe implausibility of wildebeest. Just see what else there is to find. Maybe even the hyena that we saw this morning wouldn't have moved off foot too far. And hopefully find a lilac-breasted roller on our way there. So big plans. There are quite a few elephant tracks on the road, and we drove this road this morning, so they would have come to drink at the watering hole throughout the day. Cullen, who's 7 years old, wants to know how many days predators can go without eating. Cullen, I think kind of depends what their last meal was. I'd say a lion, at a push 10-11 days, and then they probably won't make it. So what we found with our prides here, especially the Birmingham pride, I think we've been following them mostly during this WildEarth show, is that they often go for 3 or 4 days without eating, but it depends. So talking about meals for predators, Tristan has found a nice little bush piggy, not a bush pig, a warthog. So we're going to send you back over to him.
Let me just tell you, you probably have all guessed already what's happened with our sighting that we had. It's run away. The joy. So we had warthogs, they ran away though. They were on the road, running down the road, being all, warthoggy, and then they decided not to stick around for any sort of view of them and ran off into the bush. Of course. Unfortunately, we couldn't sit with our wildebeest and giraffe and impalas and warthogs where we were because, well, as you guessed, the signal wasn't very good. So that's not ideal. Everything was very, very nervy, though. There was an impala that was shouting. There was giraffe staring. But I think they've all bumped into that lioness during the course of the morning trying to come down to Sydney's dam. And that's why they're all being a little bit sort of on edge. So we unfortunately had to leave that area with no signal. So now we're just bumbling. We're going to go check Gallagher Pan for a little bit. And then I think I'll go down towards Treehouse, check the southwestern corner, and then up towards where Shidulu is again, just in case she decides to make an appearance. Now, I believe a lot of you are enjoying the fact that my warthogs ran away. I'm so glad that we have entertained you by that. It's just the way things go sometimes. But to be fair, I'm setting myself up for failure there massively because a warthog at the best of times is not a reliable individual to put on camera unless you're live at the time. They generally don't stick around too long. So I feel like I've set myself up for a massive letdown there, and this warthog certainly didn't disappoint. I should know better, but I thought because they were running on the road they were just going to slow down because we parked far away, and I was like, they'll be fine, and they were fine. But we have had a lot of relaxed warthogs. It's actually been really nice to see all these relaxed warties around. They've been very cool to watch. It's nice when we get those kinds of things happening because Max, why do some animals have knees that bend the other way? Well, because if they... probably due to ergonomics of things. So if they had, all 4 legs bending the same way, it would probably be very difficult, I would imagine, to extend forward very well and run. Our knees are obviously like this. I don't know, actually. It's an interesting thing. I was just thinking about it aloud. I honestly don't know the answer to it. I'm just kind of hypothesizing with you. But maybe it's just due to the way the back legs and front legs need to work together, that if the legs bent all the same way, it would be very difficult for them to be able to maintain balance and move effectively. But I'm not sure, to be honest with you. So it is an interesting question. There's going to be an answer for it, but I've never actually looked into it, if I'm honest about it. I have this sneaky feeling, and I don't know why, that Columbus sitting on a kill somewhere, or close to a road in this kind of northern sector from Gallagher pan area. I don't know why I've got this feeling, I just do. I think she's somewhere around here, so I'm just driving very slowly, checking all these marula trees. She likes this particular area. Tingana also used to like this area. I haven't seen him here for a long time. Emma apparently in final control feels the leopard tingle. Well, where's this leopard tingle been the last few days, Emma? You've just been leaving us to flounder out here with no leopard tingle. Not good enough, Emma. Pull your socks up. You've got to help us. You need to have your spidey sense leopard tingle going better for us so that we go to the right places and find said leopard. I also think because of last night's storm and rain, there might be a good few animals that might have been captured, much like Shadulu has an impala, so, you know, could be the same with the other leopards that we see in the area. I tried to get an update today on Tiani if anyone's seen her, but no one came back to me about it, so I don't actually know where she is. I was thinking maybe we could try go right to the western side of Simbambili and try and look for her, but with the signal being a bit sketchy this morning, I was a bit kind of worried about going that far. And without knowing that she's there, you know, if I know that she's there, then it's worth the risk. This is Murphy's Law now. It sounds like David is looking for a lilac-breasted roller, and normally you bump into them all over the place, but it sounds like he's struggling, so let's go and find out where he's checked and where he plans on checking.
Welcome back. We are still struggling for a roller. Lots of other birds though. Here's a hornbill in the road, a yellow-billed hornbill. Remember we were checking out a lovely red-billed this morning, doing its territorial calling. And this is the yellow-billed, also known as the flying banana. Of a horingneusvoël, which directly translated from Afrikaans is a horn-nosed bird. They do have a very peculiar run, don't they? What's incredible is how accurate they are with those beaks. You watch them picking at insects or crumbs on the ground. They are spot on with their accuracy. Listen to those birds. Those are Cape turtle doves that you're hearing. And I believe everyone's enjoying the Afrikaans, especially those from overseas. It is an incredible language. I think I actually enjoy speaking it more than English. It's just a very descriptive language. Megan, you're also liking this gait of a hornbill. It is a very funny looking bird to watch run around. There it goes. Where is the roller? I wonder how Rowan's getting along with his birding. Why don't we send you over to him, see how he's doing?
Yeah, I haven't found a lilac-breasted roller yet, but we'll get there. We've just been laughing at, you know, Tristan's warthogs and saying the lucky cap doesn't work. Of course, it often happens. Oh, zebra. Hello. But it often happens that we find something and we put the camera on it, and then, well, today Emma would say, okay, we're going to try link to you guys, and then as soon as they link, the animal runs off. Luckily with zebra, they don't look like they're going anywhere. Look like they are more focused on us. But as for the birding, not too successful yet. It's actually quite nice having them on a little bit of a high rise, small bit of termite band, of course. Yes. Jessica, thank you. I'm very glad at least I got to please you. Matthew, I will find you a lilac-breasted roller earlier, but for now, Jessica, I'm very happy I found you a zebra, or more than one, I guess. Oh, it's posing. Actually, I do often find zebra to be quite the poser. They'll often, the baby's doing it now actually, they'll look back across the side and gives you. Oh, David and another viewer calling these disco donkeys. Because of the way they walk, because it always looks like they're listening to music. It could work. I know in South Africa they're known as pajama donkeys. Or prison ponies, I guess. Very, very pretty animals. See the mom's tail has not stopped twitching. Must be quite a few flies around there. And you can see the baby's twitching its skin. Still very fluffy on the bum. Owen's got it nicely zoomed in there. So it was quite nice to find them on the termite mound. They often feed around them. And I was asked when these zebras will begin to migrate. And now these zebras aren't going anywhere. They're not migrating at all. Because in South Africa, what happened is the farmers created a lot of, not farmers, but people that owned these farms back in the old days. They created a lot of man-made watering holes. So zebras and wildebeest used to migrate for water, but now they don't have to. So now they can just stay in the same spot and always have water. Oh, it's lovely with the wind through its mane, isn't it? But yeah, these zebras aren't migrating. Anyway, they might leave Angola for a little while and go to different properties to our west or east or south or north, explore different areas, but they are not migrating for water the way they would in East Africa. Doesn't seem like these are moving at all. It's actually quite nice, the two on the left, how the one is so much darker than the other one. Of course, this is all just to do with genetics. The one in the back, actually the black stripe, the black stripe just seemed to be broader than the one in front. And very, very, very pretty animals, especially now with the sun on it like that. Sinak, memorable sightings with a zebra. In all honesty, one of the most fun things to watch a zebra do is to roll around in the dust. So I don't know if you've noticed here, but all these zebras look rather well fed. And so what happens is, because of the grass that they eat, their digestive system releases a lot of gas. So often when zebras roll around on their backs, they fart, and actually very loud. And as you can imagine, being a guest on the vehicle, everyone just bursts out laughing. So I quite enjoy watching that. It even happens when they run, so you never really want to drive behind a running zebra. But yeah, I think that's probably, I quite enjoy watching zebras roll around. Now they've decided to turn around. What I was saying earlier is they'll often find them feeding around termite mounds, because termites, when they build the mounds, they bring a lot of nutritious soil from the bottom up. And so you've got very nutritious grass growing around termite mounds. So you often find them on top or around. It's quite funny when you walk towards these termite mounds. It looks like someone cut the grass around it. Yeah, the oxpecker calling on top of the zebra. Shame that one is being irritated by flies, seems like. So their tails aren't too busy. Eugene has asked what the difference is between a quagga and a zebra. So Eugene, a quagga, let's start with a zebra. A zebra has stripes throughout their whole body, and a quagga does not. So the quagga was really a subspecies of a plain zebra, but they went extinct in the late 19th century. So you can't find them anymore, sadly. But it basically looked like a horse mixed with a zebra. They had dark, low bodies, so the backside of their bodies were quite dark, or donkey-like, and the front side of their body, or their head, looked like a zebra. Okay, we're going to let them be, let them enjoy the sunlight for a little while. We will explore a little bit more into the clearings just behind us, see if there's anything interesting. Maybe a lilac-biscuit roller here somewhere. There has to be one somewhere on Anbianigala. And then I think what we'll do is drop back into the Dimbavati riverbed and start driving it west, since we are very close to our eastern boundary now. Seems like there are quite a few zebras here, quite a number of them. Okay, so while we check out this area, let's see what Tristan is up to while he's maneuvering through the grass.
Just maneuvering, checking around, but my little pathway that I always used to use seems to have overgrown massively, and now I'm struggling to actually get through. So this is like a little track that I've used countless times for finding Tlalamba, Tingana, Tundi, Hosana when he used to still be here. So I thought maybe, just maybe, Tlalamba was somewhere north of this, and there's been an odd alarm call because I've been staying in the rooms that are closest to this area, and there's been this odd shout that's been happening from up here, and so I just wanted to come and check quickly, but it's so overgrown. The pathway that they normally use is no longer there. It's kind of all covered in grass, so it's going to take a bit of elephant buffalo movement just to open it all out again. It's also amazing what the water has done in terms of wrecking the places that the cars are able to get through. It's interesting. I'm going to try and see if we can get up this bank. I'm not sure if we're going to, though. No, we're not going to get up there. It's going to be too steep for us. Anushka, really depends on the time of the year that you get stuck in the bush and decide what you want to eat. But there's all kinds of trees that you can go after. Like I say, if it's marula season, you can have marula. So there's a kudu. Hello, kudu. You seen anything around here? No, kudu seems to be fairly relaxed. So yeah, there's all kinds of trees that you can use, from roots to fruits to leaves. Buffalo thorn, you could eat the leaves of a buffalo thorn. So there's that side of it. And then if you're clever and you can make little traps, then you could potentially trap yourself a meaty meal. Or you could go and fish in a dam if you were so inclined. But generally, out here, if that's happening, then it's the apocalypse. I suppose we are in an apocalyptic world at the moment in some respects, but there's so many people out here, and there's radios and all kinds of things like that, that you should never be stuck that long that you can't find food. And no matter how stuck you get, there should always be an ability to get yourself back to the lodge or get yourself unstuck. But yeah, like I say, it really is dependent on time of the year. If it was right now, the tree that I would look for the most is what's called a Torchwood Tree or a green thorn. They're busy fruiting at the moment, so I don't think they taste very good at all, but they certainly are full of nutrients, so it would be a good thing to eat. The guaris, I've seen some of them with fruits on them. What else have I seen lately would be decent enough to go and look for? And then, like I say, buffalo thorn is always a good go-to when their leaves are still nice and green like they are at the moment. So yeah, lots, I suppose. Also depends on where you are. Yes, the stick is the worst. Hi, stick. Do you think that kudu feels camouflage behind that stick? It's like, I'm going to put one stick in front of my face, and then I'll feel better. Kudu do this all the time. They will be out in the open, they'll go behind one piece of grass or one stick, and it's as though that's how they figure out where they need to be in order to hide away from us. Not that it camouflages them that well, but it, I suppose, works a little bit in keeping them fairly hidden, and certainly makes them feel better. Exactly, there you go. Now you see it moving. Now you know there actually was a kudu there. But off our kudu goes. It's going to now get behind more foliage, and off it disappears. Okay, well, David, I don't think has found his lilac-breasted roller yet, but he is birding ever so diligently, and he's got himself another feathered friend.
Well, we have just stopped at Treehouse Dam, and there's a beautiful Blacksmith Lapwing. He's spending some time at the water's edge, as they do, foraging for food. These birds love aquatic insects and invertebrates and mollusks, little worms, whatever they can find. Other than that, very peaceful here. There's a few impala right behind us, busy having a little bit of a munch. Other than that, all quiet down here at the dam. But if we sit here for another few moments, perhaps our lilac-breasted friend will make an appearance. What a privilege to just sit here and enjoy absolute peace and quiet. It is very, very relaxing. But would not be able to be out here without each and every one of you that loves watching the show and supporting us. Thank you for your support, and please feel free to check that link on the bottom of your page. That's what keeps us going, and we sure love carrying on out here. It really is beautiful. Serenity. We could rename this little dam Serenity. It's called Treehouse, I believe, but I don't know why. I don't see any tree houses. I suppose there was one here a long time ago. Daniel, you say the little Blacksmith Lapwing look like they're wearing tuxedos. That's a very cool observation on their way to a formal occasion. They've definitely got the attitude for a tuxedo. If they've got oh, where did it go? You see what just happened there? That was a very good example of an alarm call in the bush startling another animal. It was a grey lory, you might have heard it. And it gave its typical alarm call, that quang, quang. And that means there's something there. And without even giving it a second thought, that lapwing just swam or flew to the other side of the dam. And now it's sitting there doing its own call, showing off its attitude, worthy of a tuxedo. Kerry, you've asked, can a lapwing swim? And they definitely wade. I can't remember when last I saw one swimming, but I'm sure they could. Although they would not be doing the breaststroke with their wings, if that's what you're thinking. If anything, it would be similar to a duck. I honestly cannot remember ever seeing one do that. But wading, yes. Speaking of wading, let's send you over to Rowan, who's doing some wading through the sand.
I'm also waiting to see a lilac Cresserola. It's never been this hard to find a lilac Cresserola. Even Owen admits they shouldn't be the hardest birds to find. But today, I think today has just not been our day for David, Tristan and myself. In a rather quiet day. Of course, these are needed every now and then. So what we're doing now is just driving west along the banks, well, along the Simbambili River, hoping to see whatever we can find. And so far, not too much. But it is going to be a spectacular sunset. You've got that light cloud coming in. The view is going to be phenomenal. I've walked here so many times in the last week following lions and leopards. And there's always... oh, there's a lion. There's the pride. Okay, well, that's why we walk here. What are they looking... oh, there's another lion. That's what they're looking at. There's the Birmingham pride. We were actually joking with Sean about it the other day, saying whenever I drive, the lions come back. So there's a young male on our left, and then the rest of the pride is on our right. say a young male, still a cub. Looks like it might be the son of the white dot female. Right, so yeah, Emma's saying, I mean, it's like a half-hearted complaint saying it's not a lilac-breasted roller, but she'll be okay with a lion. You know what, yeah, just take what we can get here at Anbianangala. Wonder what he decided to chase up the bank, why he's so split up. Oh, the sun in his eyes now are just incredible. So I'm going to give him time to walk across the riverbed. He'll probably go back towards the pride. Or just lay down right there. Often happens, you say one thing and they do quite the opposite. So Yapi and Nikki tracked this pride this morning from, 6:30 till about 2 o'clock. And then a day tracking the Birmingham pride, so well done. Valto, saying that one looks so young, and it is. I think he's about 1 year and 7 months, 1 year and 8 months old now, so they are still very young, all these cubs. Of course, you don't have the newest 2 additions to this pride yet, but 8 of them are about 1 year and 8 months, 1 year and 7 months, and 1 year and, just over 1 year, 1 year and a month now. So they are still very, very young. And of course, you've got the mothers here. They're not so young anymore. And just doing what they do best, lazing away in the sand. Something must have caught their attention, because you can see some of the youngsters are still looking to their right or left, or just looking right in front of the vehicle. Joy, sweet sleepy lions, absolutely. Also not the worst life in the world, quite a nice lazy life. Although I think that the 4 hours that they are active during the day, I think they are very active. I mean, we tried to puzzle it out the other day, how this pride walked. It was when Sean was driving. And we started tracking from one spot, and then we had tracks of them covering another road, or crossing another road about 3 kilometers away. So we start tracking from there, and then they cross another road about 3 kilometers away. And it was the most difficult thing, trying to sort out where these lines and why these lines moved so much. So I think they can be very, very active, during those 4 hours, which is why, I mean, Yapi and Nikki, hats off to them. They tracked them for 7 hours this morning, so very, very, very well done. Ashton from Joburg wants to know if we tell the age of a lion from their nose. So Ashton, we not exactly age, we can tell you if it's a young lion or older lion. So you're right in that regard. The younger animals have more pink noses, and then the older ones, they're more black on the nose, with lions and leopards. But the only reasons why we know these ones' ages is because we actually know when they were born. We were there, we saw them when they were tiny, tiny, tiny. I don't know if you've been watching the show, but they were as small as the 2 other cubs that the young lioness just gave birth to, around that age. So that's how we kind of know, well, about which week or in which 2 weeks they were born. But you're absolutely right. You can tell whether an animal is younger or older, especially with the cats, by looking at the nose, whether it's pink or black. So all these cubs will have pink noses. Then the 2 old lionesses, they have very black noses, and then the other 2 lionesses have a little bit of pink star on their nose with black flecks. don't know, maybe one of the lionesses walked away, which is why they're all okay. Sherry has asked, what is the percentage of lion cubs that make it to adulthood? Sherry, it's quite dismal. 80% of lions don't even make it to the age of 2 years old. And I think adulthood in a lion is probably considered around 4.5, 5. So not a very good number at all. It also depends on the amount of predators you have in an area. The prides, even the sun's looking very cool now, eh? Behind the cloud. So Sherry, not a very good number at all. I think they are quite endangered already. See, one of the large lionesses cleaning herself now. To see, doesn't look like they'll stand up. Oh, the little white lioness is yawning. Even Emma said, gorgeous sun there. No, it will really be a nice sunset. But I think we're definitely going to spend quite an amount of time with this pride. They've been off of Anbianangala. They crossed out east, and I think they decided to come back in yesterday evening, hopefully. See, the old lioness got her head up now. She's listening out. If she stands up, I'm pretty sure everyone will wake up to see what she's up to, where she's going. Beautiful cats. Quite nice to just hang out in the river like this. Must be quite nice and cool on the sand as well. Today's not been super hot at all. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna spend quite a bit of time here. Let the sun set a little while, see if they wake up. For now, I'll send you back over to David. I hope is still looking for a lilac roller.
We are still looking, but it's not looking too promising actually. You were on some rhino tracks. We saw some very fresh rhino tracks, which was pretty cool. See if I can show you another one. Beautiful three-toed track. We're just cruising down this drainage line in the hope of seeing something. Oh, that looks like a very good place for a leopard. Look at that termite mound with the, looks like a jackalberry. Was it a scotia? Can you frame that up for us, Alex? That just looks like, that's the kind of place that catches my eye and says a leopard should be on top of it. Ah, it's a scotia. It's a weeping bourbon. That tree. Beautiful big tree. I love those trees. And also on top of the termite mound. So once again, which one came first? The termite mound or the tree? You see that spot that we got framed up there? That is exactly where a leopard should be. Remember, we did have those white-crested helmet trike fly in front of us this afternoon, so I am expecting some good luck from that. Well, I'm gonna go and try and find that rhino track I was talking about. We did have some at the past junction, but they are heading along this bed, so we'll see if we can pick you up at least a track. But while we do that, let's send you back over to Rowan with his lucky lions.
Lucky lions. Thank you, Tristan, for changing your cap. and giving us a little bit of luck. It's very nice of you. See, the lioness is still cleaning herself. We've got some of the youngsters are awake. You can actually see blood on the little white female's nose, so they definitely ate something this morning. She needs to clean that up. Oh, now you're a pink lioness. It's quite nice that some of them have their heads up. Usually this time of the day they'll still be sleeping quite well. She's got the most gorgeous eyes, her and her brother. Actually, all of these lions have the most stunning eyes. And the lioness there in the back, the big one cleaning herself. She's got very intimidating eyes. Ah, yay! So we've got new viewers that's never seen a white lion. Actually, I'll be honest, this is Owen's second time only of seeing a white lion. So he's right in that boat with you. Also freaking out, quite enjoying this. I'm hoping that that little white youngster, female, would stand up soon. So let's see what happens. But yeah, all 4 lionesses is here, and then all 8 Capricorn, the lesser known pink lion. Yeah, way rarer than the lilac breasted roller. So I think we did well. Waiting for the little white lioness to actually stand up. You can see she's cleaning her paws. The big female is now shifted and she's looking the other way. So I don't know which one's going to stand up first. But it's definitely time for grooming. You can see whatever they ate, I don't think it was a big meal. None of them look very full. None of them are breathing very heavily. So I don't think they ate a lot. Oh, even Emma's saying it's the first time she's seen the white lion. So well done. Very, very cool. Yes, they look at peace when they sleep, eh? And this little one, sorry, just looks so peaceful. That face, almost like a little smile. The white male is also waking up now, but I think he might have just been bitten by a fly. Okay, now his head's back down. So yeah, all 8 cubs and all lionesses, all 4 lionesses are here. Doesn't that just look like a very, very peaceful face? And there you can see the pink on the nose that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Anushka is asking if lionesses ever break away from prides like males do. Anushka, they do. It all depends on how big the pride is, and you know what happened here. Let me just use this as an example. The Birmingham Pride. There are 2 prides now. One is the Birmingham Pride, and the other one's the Birmingham Breakaway Pride. So their daughters actually broke away because the pride just got too big, and you know, no piece of land can actually sustain a pride that is 30 or upwards. So it was actually the females that broke away, and they formed the Birmingham Breakaway Pride. So yeah, no, definitely it happens. Females can move away from the pride because if there's just too many lions, none of them are going to eat. So it's better if there are more than one pride. Love, you know, that pride could kill a giraffe very easily. Incredibly good hunters. See how beautiful her eyes are. She looks very inquisitive, always. I'm hoping that she wakes up and then she goes and wakes up her sister and start playing with her. It's often the younger ones that wake up first, and they'll be very playful still. But first, clean. Okay, so it seems like Tristan has beautiful light on some wildebeest. So we're just going to sit here and wait for them to wake up. But you're going to go back to Lucky Tristan with his cap.
We do indeed. It's very, very pretty. It's late afternoon and there's beautiful white grass. I think I was talking about it, when was it? The other day. BK, were you with me? We were talking about male lions. Yes. And this is the effect that I was roughly kind of talking about. The sun could dip a little bit lower and it will start to get more and more sort of orange and less yellow. But that's the kind of idea is what I wanted. Is you see how this grass just picks up all the light and it kind of glows, and then especially if you get something dark like these wildebeest walking through it, the contrast between them and the light is absolutely beautiful. So really, really nice. Emma was saying now in Final Control that it would be really good if they kicked up a whole bunch of dust, and that would just be the cherry on top. Can you imagine a big herd of buffalo walking through here with all that dust and picking up the light? It'd be absolutely magnificent. So, I hope maybe that we'll get that in the coming few weeks. What's that all the way down there? Let me get my... No, you don't ask for much at all. Okay. It'd be nice just to get anything at this stage of the game. I just want to check down to Sydney's Dam. I can see more wildebeest and impalas coming down there. So I don't think that lioness is hanging around the dam. I was coming back this way just in case she might have thought about coming for a drink. It's that time of the day where if they've been on a carcass, that they might start thinking about going for water. And so I thought it would be a good plan just to come and check up this side. And I hope that the wildebeest that was killed is not one of the members of our quarantine herd, because I'm pretty sure this herd that we're seeing here is the same ones that used to hang around on quarantine. It would be very sad if one of our members are gone, but I'm sure that it must be either this one or the other group that's across the way on the other side of Sydney's Dam. Pepper, why are people on the chat calling these gnus? Because that's the other name for them. So you've got wildebeest, which is a very South African name, which basically is Afrikaans. Wilde is wild, and beest is a beast, and so that's where it kind of comes from. Well, that's the name in Afrikaans and in South Africa, but the rest of Africa actually refers to them as gnus, which is purely derived from the sound that they make. They make this gnuing sound as they walk along. If you go to the migration, it's unbelievable to listen to the noise that these guys produce. You can imagine, I mean, this is a grouping of what? Not even 20, maybe about 20, 15 individuals. Now imagine over 5, 6, 7, 800,000 of them in one place, and all of them trying to keep tabs of their little ones, and so they all just constantly talk to each other, and you get this sound as they walk around, and that's where the name came from. So this particular species is the blue gnu, or blue wildebeest, and then you have the one that is in the migration is the white-bearded gnu. So different species to the one we get here. That's why these guys are not as migratory as those ones. Josh, I don't think so live. I'm not sure, but I don't think so live. I have personally seen Tingana with wildebeest kills, but not with WildEarth. I saw that many years ago on Simbambili, well, just south of Simbambili on the Elephant Plains kind of cut line. He had 2 of about the size of the small ones to the right, BK. I don't know if there's a bush, that size there. So imagine those 2. Tingana managed to pull down both of those basically, and he put one in each tree on either side of the road and sat there and ate himself silly like a sausage for about 5 days, and then got tired of it and left it because it was just starting to go off, and he was so full by then that he had managed to eat about 1.5 of these guys, and then left the last one there. And I think potentially it fell, and then the hyenas, I can't remember actually what happened to the other half of one, but he didn't stay and finish both. It's a lot of meat for a leopard to eat. But in Mara, you'll see it quite regularly. They hunt a lot of the wildebeest as they exit the river. There you get the big males hunting these guys. It's quite a common thing. Serengeti as well. When we were in the Serengeti last year, we had a female that managed to bring down, I think she had, in the time that we were there for just over 3 weeks, and she must have had about 5 or 6 wildebeest kills in the space of the time, or in the time that we were there, which was pretty crazy. She also had 2 in a tree at one point, but they were much smaller than what these guys are. These guys, as you can see, have grown a little bit. So, but still incredible to see a leopard pull down one of these. Alright, I'm going to leave these guys. They certainly played the game and allowed us to see a beautiful wildebeest walking through golden light. And so while we carry on and see what else we can find, let's send you back across the road with the lions.
They would indeed, but for now, they're enjoying a bit of grooming. So the little white lioness was the first one to wake up, and she's now grooming a sibling. You actually see the pleasure in the other one's face as she's being licked behind the ear. There's a lot of hair sticking to that tongue. See it bite her every now and then as well. Pull her a little bit closer. Look at the pleasure in the other one's face. Phenomenal. Of course, this reaffirms the social bond. Oh, he wants the other ear to be licked. There we go. Francesca has asked, are there lots of white lions in the world? Francesca, there are a lot of white lions in the world. But there are only 3 wild white lions in the world. So 2 of them are right in front of us at the moment. But there are a lot of white lions bred in cages and zoos, but the only 3 wild white lions are actually around this area. 2 of them here, and then another one further east of here. Oh, that older sibling is really enjoying that. Big yawn, massive teeth. Oh, it's going to start grooming back. There we go. Cleaner face. That's so cute. It's such a moment. It's quite tender when they do it. Maybe she'll come out white after this and not pink anymore. One can only hope. I love wild dogs. Said she would have to be paid to do this, or her sister would have to pay her to do this. Luckily, lions are quite nice to each other. So here, what happens is they reciprocate. So like you saw, the white lioness starts, she grooms the other one, and then it's reciprocated, and the sister does the same. As you can see there now, the little white one is actually cleaning the paw of the tawny one, and the tawny one's cleaning the white one's face. So still grooming each other. I don't know what they heard now. Something we didn't hear. Might just be a crack of a branch, some grass moving, something stepping into the river, maybe far off sound of an elephant. Not too sure. I've never been licked by a lion, but apparently the tongue is it's 50 times rougher than a cat's tongue. So I think if it had to lick your hand, it could potentially separate the skin from the bone. Oh, it's telling me to watch my head. I'm in the way there. That one looks very content still, very happy just sleeping. How many times can you lick the same spot? Often you see it if the mothers or the older lioness had to. Never mind. Elisa asked if lions ever lose their manes, or they're just simply born with them or without them. So, of course, the males grow the manes, and I've never, unless for mange, the mite that actually eat into the hair, but I've never heard of male lions just going bald. Some have much nicer manes than others. I think maybe with age, like maybe the hair starts falling out as they get older. I think we had a old Power 1 male here, and his mane looked very good when he was 8 years old, but as he got older, it didn't really look that great anymore. I think it's just them losing condition, but I've never heard of just a lion going or losing their mane for no reason at all except for mange. So I was saying, when often the lionesses will groom the youngsters, and of course they also lick the same spot over and over and over again. Now after a while, the little ones actually get quite annoyed with it. I think it starts to hurt. These aren't done yet. Still going. Alrighty, so for now we're just going to sit here for another little while, but send you back over to David, who's got some Ellies coming down for a drink.
We've just come down to Chitwa Dam. Found a little group of elephants. Just finished drinking. Right on the dam wall here. You can actually see the wall behind those elephants there. That's part of the erosion control to prevent further soil washing away. Shame one of the little babies tripped and fell as we got here. It was actually hilarious. It was a spectacle. It literally went kop oor pote, head over feet, however you say it. Literally just did a roll. Don't know what it tripped on. I thought they were all leaving, but they seem to be coming back. Elizabeth, 13 years old. You've asked for what reason would you have an elephant sounding its trumpet? And that's generally out of excitement or being a little bit anxious or nervous. A shriek in a trumpet is generally a high emotion. So either very excited or perhaps a little bit afraid. This is just such a lovely sighting. Lovely to listen to all the sounds they make as they're digging in the dirt. Listen to those rough feet and toenails as they dig in the dirt. This young elephant, just to the right, is a bit perturbed by those Egyptian geese on the left of the frame. Wasn't too sure what to think about them. Still not too sure it's chasing the geese. Sinak, you reckon this is just amazing? I agree. Completely agree. So special. You stop and look at the elephant trunks, you realize how important they really are and how versatile and dexterous they are in an elephant's life. Powerful, these trunks can smash trees and pull down branches, but also pick up a fruit as small as a golf ball. Camo pug, you say you like how the babies stick together. They do seem to bunch together sometimes like a little nursery. But even more so, they stick with their mothers because they know that's where the safety is. Well, it's definitely a boy at the back here, a young boy. Still full of beans. Very lacquer, what a lacquer sighting. Well, we're gonna cruise slowly along the side of the dam here and see if there's anything else cool that we can find. While we do that, let's send you back over to Roan.
For some of them, the two that were grooming each other, they've fallen back asleep, so now this lioness is grooming herself. She might just give us an impressive yawn sometime soon, hopefully. Ah, the little white lioness is up and going again, so she's back awake, which is good. No, she's looking for a more comfortable spot to sleep. Okay. But the rest of the pride still very sleepy, except the one that we found first. It was on our left. He's been practicing social distancing. So we've actually, it's quite funny, there are two young males scattered, or well, sleeping away from the pride. And then the other young males, the white one, he's right in the middle here where the rest are. But the other two are about 40 meters each away from the pride. One just south of the pride, another one west of the pride. It's like they don't want to bond. They don't want to be groomed either. I'm just going to show you the one now. This is the first one we found. Came out the bush. He keeps looking in this direction, and it's like a naughty kid that did something wrong, and your mom said go to your room, and so now he doesn't know if he's allowed to come back just yet. He keeps looking at the rest of the pride like he wants to come back here. Well, he looks fairly comfortable there. The other one is behind the grass. Can't really get it clear. Heads up. Apparently we're getting, we have sort of audio issues. I think we're trying to sort it out now. I think I might have fixed it. So apologies for that. Okay, Owen says all sorted. Hopefully it's better now. Looks like this male just noticed something crawling in the sand there. Maybe it just got bitten by a fly. You can see the tail twitching up every now and then. How beautiful is that light coming right into his face. He does look like he wants to. He looks like he wants to join the rest of the pride. And the other one is right above this lioness that's waking up. Zoom back out to the lioness. The one licking herself. And straight through, there's the other one. So distancing itself from the pride. All the lions here looks like they are waking up slowly, big yawns. Oh, here we go, massive yawn. Oof, scary teeth. Scratching themselves, and they get up and they just lie down again in a more comfortable position. It's quite a tough place to lick. Can you imagine it could get a neck cramp? The young male's coming from our left, finally deciding to join the pride. See a tiny bit of a mane there, a very scruffy beard. starting to grow. Just disappear quickly behind that tracker seat. Lindy, absolutely, female lions do roar. Ah, there we go. Now he wants to be groomed. I think that's what happened. He saw the lioness waking up and then he got a bit jealous and he wanted to be groomed by her. But Lindy, yeah, female or lionesses roar quite a fair bit. We've had it before where this entire pride roared next to us. It was, well, initiated by one of the Ross males, and then everyone just joined in. But yes, lionesses can also roar, so very, very loud. See, she also has a bit of blood still on her right cheek. Just see a tinge of red. Spoke to Yapi and Nikki, and it seemed like they killed 2 impalas last night. They found the carcasses. So just look at that. I mean, none of their bellies are very full, so you can imagine 2 impalas don't really stretch very far with this pride of lions. My head's in the way again. Emma's also saying those 2 impalas won't feed these guys for a long time. No, they need something bigger. They need something like a buffalo or giraffe. Wildebeest, we know, don't go too badly. It usually keeps them busy for morning. Same thing with the zebra, but impala is not really too much. Sean and I watched him trying to hunt a buffalo the other day, or 2 buffaloes actually, unsuccessfully. But it was quite interesting to see even the babies or the youngsters here trying to help out, also chasing buffalo around. Okay, so we're still going to sit here for a little while, see if anything changes, any of them wake up. But for now, I'll send you back over to David. He's found a crocodile.
Crocodile, just over here on the left, just pulled up into position. Saw it from a distance. Now we just got a little bit closer. We don't want to get too close and scare it into the water. This is probably the longest living creature that we've seen on our game drive. It certainly is. It's probably the longest living creature out here in the bush, if I'm not mistaken. Recorded that they can live for well up to and over 100 years. They demand a healthy degree of respect. They can get massive Nile crocodile, up to 7 meters in length, and records of crocodiles up to 1,000 kilograms, a ton in weight. Can you believe? That must be a massive crocodile. And we've got some hippo just off to the side. Seems to be content there against the bank. Moonbeam, you reckon this is the first crocodile you've seen since joining the show a couple months ago? Well, that's good. I'm glad I could show one to you. It is always special to see them out in the open like this. This one looks like it's got, I don't know if the tip of its tail is missing or if it's just turned sideways. Hard to say. There's a big crocodile though. I wouldn't want to be swimming with it. They are renowned for their ability to patiently wait and study the behavior of animals, creatures, sometimes even humans, and then lie in wait and plan their attack. But definitely a species that deserves a very healthy degree of respect. But at the moment nice and lazy, not doing much. On that note, let's send you back over to Ryan and Lion, sorry. I mixed Rowan and Lion and I said Ryan. Anyway, those things with the lions. Cheers.
Very lazy. At least her eyes are still, well, open a little bit every now and then. And then you can actually see the flies buzzing around her ears. So, like I said earlier, it seems that everyone is waking up, yawning, grooming each other, and then finding a more comfortable spot to sleep. But isn't that just a pretty sight? Ah, there we go. Eyes are open. Something caught her attention. There's a hyena calling behind us. It's just a whooping sound that she's caught onto. Now the youngster's also hearing it. She's got very intense eyes. Those two are just sleeping still. They're not catching any hyenas. This lioness is quite intently listening. You can see now her eyes are starting to close again. One of the older lionesses to our right, she's also opened her eyes and listening. Barto, that face kills you. I can tell you now, this animal could kill you. There's one awake now, yawning. I think my head's in the way. Again, let me just try reposition a little bit. While one is waking up and yawning. See, big teeth. Oh, and I'm going to put them on your left. If that could work. Also one of the older lionesses. Actually, two of them now waking up. Thank you, hyena, for waking up. The lazy lions. Emma saying, am I doing lots of yoga trying to get out of the way of the camera? Actually, it's one thing that Sean and I started doing now was yoga. We are not really too good yet, but quite a fun way to pass the afternoon when we have the afternoons off. So thanks, Emma. I'm glad you noticed my yoga. Another big yawn. She might start grooming herself as well, just like the lioness next to her. I'll tell you something, you don't want to be a wildebeest or zebra or buffalo or anything that just comes down the bank and walks into this pride. These lionesses are huge. How pretty is the sky behind them as well, just down the river. Quite the afternoon. So that lioness that is waking up to the right, she is the mother of the white male. Sahara wants to know if we often find animals in the riverbed and why. Sahara, we do. So during the day, you know, animals will come, or especially like on hot days like today, they're going to find a nice, or try and find a nice shady spot. And so here, the riverbed is dried up, but majority of it runs east-west, or sometimes it bends north-south. So there will always be shady spots somewhere in the river, and there's water running underneath the sand, which cools it down a little bit. So you often find leopards, lions, things like that sleeping in the river. Also buffalo, where there are puddles, or you'll find elephants coming down to drink. They dig their own holes. Same thing with baboons. You also have the biggest trees right on the banks of the river, which is another good spot for leopards and baboons. So yeah, Sahara, definitely find a lot of animals in the river. Especially, imagine how nice and soft it must be lying in the sand rather than on rocks or grass with a lot of things crawling around beneath you. I would also rather sleep in the sand. Oh, big yawns coming now. She's starting to groom her. So like I said earlier, that's the mother of the white male, and she's actually now starting to groom him. Okay, it seems like David's also taking in a very good sunset, so we're going to send you over to him on Chitwa Dam.
We've just repositioned here, and the crocodile isn't too phased. Normally they would move into the water and you get this close, but this crocodile is staying put. It's lovely. From this close-up angle we can see that beautiful crocodile grin. Maybe not so beautiful, a little bit menacing. Look at those teeth. Their teeth aren't actually conducive to chewing, so the way they get meat down their throat is they'll catch something and grab a piece and spin off a chunk of meat and then swallow that whole. Oftentimes with larger animals. With fish easy, they can just throw it up and swallow it, but with a larger animal they will sometimes go and stash it under a log or something under the water and give it time to deteriorate and soften, making it easier to swallow and break off and swallow chunks of meat. Inez, you've asked, do hippo and crocodile often fight? And no, they don't often fight. They do occasionally. Sometimes if a big croc gets too close to a hippo mom with a calf, she might take action. And hippo have definitely killed crocodile, as I'm sure crocodile have killed young hippo, but generally they appear to live in peace, mutual respect in these African pools of water. Oh, wow, look at this. Hyena's coming to inspect the crocodile. Coming down for a drink. Wondering what this massive reptile is doing on the side here. Instinctively knowing to stay clear. Chris Rogue, you say this hyena is cacao, you recognize it. Very inquisitive. But it it appears to know what's good for it and is leaving the crocodile alone. Tom, you reckon we can change it to curiosity killed the hyena? Definitely. Although this hyena seems to have a healthy respect for the unknown, he keeps staring at the water. The hippo made a bit of movement and caused some rippling, and it was a bit startled. It's not getting any closer. Just going to carry on down the road. I see there's a flock of guinea fowl up ahead there. We may get some screeching from the guinea fowl as the hyena approaches. Here we go. Going to be some upset guinea fowl. The guinea fowl are not sticking around. If they get too close, they'll get snacked. Although hyena don't actively hunt guinea fowl do know it's a predator, so they are going to alarm and stay clear as it runs past. Steve asked, are there any animals that hunt crocodiles? And it's not very common to see, but every now and then you'll see an occurrence of something grabbing a crocodile, generally a large predator like a lion or a leopard, sorry. My experience, hippo just killing crocodile, though it's more out of a defense or an aggression, but obviously hippo are not interested in the meat. But as far as hunting for meat, I have seen many accounts of leopard and lion killing crocodile. And speaking of guinea fowl staying clear, if we look right down here, right between us and the crocodile, see there's a clump of feathers on the ground, which once was a guinea fowl. Can you see it there, Alex? There's a clump of feathers, used to belong to a guinea fowl. Something did make a meal of a guinea fowl here not too long ago. Could even have been a fish eagle, it could have been a serval or a caracal. Could have been a variety of things. And that's all that's left. Very, very cool. It was lovely seeing that hyena come past. Well, it's been a lovely time spent here at Chitwa. We're going to slowly carry on. So let's send you back over to Tristan and get an update on his afternoon.
Quiet is the answer to that. Sorry, BK, what? BK's comms are a little bit unstable, so he didn't hear that we were being linked to. But my afternoon's been incredibly quiet. It's not gone according to plan at all, which is pretty much par for the course over the last couple of days. So we just need something to hopefully break the sort of pattern that we're in at the moment. But there's some Ellies in front, which is nice, so we'll spend some time with these guys for a little bit. Maybe while we're sitting with them, we'll hear something that will lead us to our next sighting. Hi guys. Nice to see some Ellies. Stand false alarm calls for fun. I mean, there's nothing for fun. There are ones that give off false alarm calls, particularly in the bird world. So fork-tailed drongos, they do it, particularly around meerkats and mongoose. So they will mimic the alarm call of a meerkat or a mongoose, which will then, in turn, mean the meerkat or mongoose, which might have a food source at the time, drops it, and they can then swoop down and grab it. So that's a false alarm call. I'm just trying to think if any of the mammals do it. Don't see any of the mammals do false alarm calls. Out here in the bush, crying wolf like that and doing a false alarm call is not a funny thing for these animals, because those alarm calls serve a purpose. They're there and they're designed in order to protect each other, and so when they alarm, they are warning everybody that there's potentially danger here. So if they do it too often and there isn't danger, then it loses its effectiveness. So you don't see it with mammals too much, but birds certainly, and that's just all competition for food. So drongos do it a lot. In fact, there's a drongo calling right here. You might be able to hear it. These Ellie's having a nice feed. But for a second she was grabbing big tubers, but she's not. She's grabbing grass by the looks of things. So drongos will often be with elephants. They like to follow them around, much like they dupe dwarf mongoose and meerkats. They will also use other animals to be able to catch insects that the elephants disturb. You can imagine the elephants, being as large as they are constantly disturbing all kinds of insects via digging and breaking of grasses and walking, and so it's a perfect thing for drongo to follow in order to utilize that resource and not have to do as much work. I must admit, there's something about sitting with elephants at this time of the day. It's just as it starts to get dark, and it's that period where everything changes from night to day. It's almost as if the bush goes to its quietest point, and so it becomes much easier then to listen to every little sound that the ellies make, and they're not drowned out by birds and things like that. They're able to just pick up everything that they do. It's really nice just to sit at this time of the day and keep quiet. So I'm going to do just that so you can hear them feeding as they go. There it is. She looks like Short Trunk. It's with us. So this is an elephant. Okay, just want to check. BK, if you can just zoom in on her trunk and let's just see if the end of her trunk is shortened. As she brings it up is probably the best chance. Difficult as all the grass. Is that trunk shortened? It looks short. It does. It looks like it's missing its two little tips that elephants have. If that is the case, it's about the right size for her. It's good to see her. She's an elephant we know well. Can't see nicely, I'm afraid. There's too much grass. Maybe somebody can pause it when she was coming across the road. And doesn't look like she's got those two little fingers that come off. Might be wrong. I was hoping she was going to sniff us and just put her trunk up a little bit so that I could just see nicely. The thing with Short Trunk is it's just the tip of her trunk, so it's really difficult when she's in long grass to actually see whether it's her. The best time to figure it out is normally if she's walking or if she's drinking. it's not her, but this is also one with a damaged trunk. I don't know, maybe... That is her. Hello, girl. It's a long time since I've seen you. That's cool. Like I say, it's been a while since I've seen her, and she seems to have inherited some numbers. At one point, she was just part of a group of 5. And now she's got quite a few more that have joined her, which is really nice to see. She's looking wonderful as well. Almost looks as though she's a little bit pregnant, doesn't it? Her stomach on the side here is quite swollen. It's difficult to see from this angle. It's better when they kind of face away from you. It does look like there's quite a big bulge on either side of those hips that could potentially indicate she's pregnant. It would be about right, because her other smallest one, which is close to her, on the other side of her, is probably now around, say, 4 or 5 years old. So it should be about the time that she has her next one. We're surrounded by them now. It's such a cool thing to see. Happy. So when elephants lift and swing feet, it can often be a body language communication to the rest of the herd. So when they do that, it often shows indecisiveness for us, as we often see it when they are indecisive. So if they get to a road, I don't know if you've noticed, before they cross a road, they do it a lot. So they kind of pick up that foot and they just swing it a little bit, and the trunk moves at the same time, sniffing, and then they cross the road. They also do it sometimes when they get to water, when they just kind of, okay, when they're just checking out what's going on. But it is a communication. It's a way of them talking to one another, and to be able to read each other's body language. And I'm pretty sure it's indecision from their part. Like I say, every time I've seen them do it, it's when they're a little bit uneasy about something. It's an edge of a road or something like that that makes them start to swing that foot a little bit. Yeah, exactly. It's like people doing the same thing, tapping their foot before they make a decision, or, just pausing for a moment, and that would be the exact same reason for it. Sometimes, though, if you see them in the bush like this and their foot is moving, that's not so much lifting and sort of moving it up and down. That's actually a lot of the time digging to try and get roots of plants, or to try and remove soil away from a tuber that they can then pick up out of the ground. They're making so much noise tonight, these guys. It's cool. Alright, it's getting quite dark, so we're going to have to sort out our infrared. So while we enjoy this and do that, let's send you back across to Roan, whose lions have decided to start waking up for the evening.
Yeah, it's getting quite dark as well, and it's actually, discussing it a little bit earlier, it's getting very cold very quickly. So there's really not been too much action just yet, and I don't really think there would be, apparently, because they ate 2 impalas last night. It was quite nice to see these 2 lionesses running right in front of us. These 2 are sisters. And then it's just some of the youngsters starting to wake up slowly now, but none really of the other lionesses. We were discussing, or we were saying earlier, the one to the right is cleaning her paw now. She's often the one that gets up first of all the lionesses. She seems to be hungrier than the rest of the girls around her. There's always one. So for now, it's just the youngsters screaming themselves. Except the one that's far off from the pride, he's still just lying very still. Hasn't even moved. Can actually hear her licking her paw. Victoria, I don't think so, Victoria. Usually, you know, the pride is, in the white male line, is the youngster of, you know, one of these lionesses, and same thing with the females. So it's their babies, so they don't really have to accept them. They made them, so they are part of the pride already. It's not an acceptance thing. It is that they are their youngsters, that they are their babies. And I don't think there has actually ever been a problem with the pride accepting a white lion. Oh, big yawn. Those teeth. And that's a youngster. Actually quite scary. I love it when they do this. They lick their paw and then they clean their face with it. Very peaceful evening. I've only heard the one hyena once. So far no other sounds. Which is quite surprising because it's cold enough. I think if there were male lions in the vicinity, it's definitely cold enough for them to start roaring. Very still night as well, no wind at all. A good time to roar. Sunny, my sister has a cat, and I've also noticed that her cat does exactly the same thing. Licks the paw and then washes the face. Definitely a cat thing. See leopards do it as well. Can't remember if our dog does it. I've never seen wild dogs do it, but of course cleaning all over now, making sure everywhere is clean. He's a beautiful male. Very big, strong face. I'm excited to see what he looks like when he grows up. I think him and his two brothers are going to be very big lions. Of course, they have great genes with them coming from the Birmingham Pride. Yeah, it's only the youngsters really waking up and this one lioness. I think she might just settle in a little bit further now. Go back to sleep. Oh, she did one big yawn. It looks like her eyes are shutting again. Oh, the young male's up. The white one. Big stretch. His tail's looking kinky there. So I think now what he might do is go to one of the older lionesses and just ask to be groomed. Yeah, the jackal alarm calling in the back. I think he might be peeing on her paw. That's not very nice. He just peed on her paw. I was going to say how cute of him to sit on her lap, but then he started peeing. Okay, those two are going to... Okay. Stretch, and then back to sleep. Alright, so we'll sit here for a while longer, see if any of them wake up for a little while. But I think they might just settle. For now, we're going to send you back over to Tristan. He's got black and white elephants.
We do, and the Yetis just taking it very easy. I actually thought that they were going to disappear for a second. You can see that the sunset behind them is making things a bit awkward for poor BK because it's so bright in infrared, but the elephants are so dark that we need to go into it. But they've settled down. They're kind of staying right next to us, which is nice. I thought most of the herd has already gone and just left these three behind. But these three are seemingly very happy just to spend time right next to us, and I can assure you that it's very pleasant sitting here watching them and listening to them. crazy that you can be that close, that you can hear them breathing and eating, and the grass kind of moving up against their legs and their body. It's a very cool thing to be a part of, and it's one thing that I love about what we do is that we get such an incredible sound for you guys at home to be able to hear. I must admit, this is one of my favorite things to do if I'm not working and I'm off, was to try and find herds of elephants. Particularly when I was at Lion Sands, I used to like to go to the river in the late afternoons and go and sit on the rocks there and watch the ellies and just sit there quiet and listen to them and let them kind of move around you. It was perfectly safe to be on these big high rocks, and they would walk around at the bottom. But just being in their company, and especially when you just sit quietly, oh, bless you. It's a magic way to spend an afternoon. The Sabi River is one of the most exquisite places to sit in the afternoon. In fact, one of the viewers that watches this show came on a safari with me at Lion Sands. Michael Moss, he was with me, and we actually didn't do it in the afternoon, but the one day we walked down to the river and we sat on the bank and we photographed some ellies that had come down to drink. And such a nice way to spend a moment in time is just sitting watching them, and whether it be with somebody else or you on your own, just sitting quietly and kind of absorbing the experience is a very cool thing. It's one of those things that guides we probably don't do enough, because we spend so much time guiding guests. We typically, are interpreting behavior and look. So sometimes it's nice just to kind of take it up for yourself. It's a special thing to be able to sit with elephants like that, that's for sure. One of the nice things about this show is that we get to do that, because we obviously jump between feeds, so we get a lot of chances to just spend with animals on our own as we wait for you guys to come back to us. Alright, they're drifting off. I want to leave them now just purely because I want to just try go past Shadulu one more time and just see if maybe she's treed her kill, and potentially we can get a view of her. And so while I do that, I'm going to send you back up to Anbianigala and Roan with the lions. Hopefully they're going to get up and get on the move.
Okay, so some of the lionesses have started waking up. You can still hear the jackal in the background. But it looks like, they move and they pee and they go down again. But we are starting to lose light very quickly. So I think we'll end up leaving this pride quite soon. See where she settles down. But all the lionesses are awake now. Okay. She's going to sleep right in front of the vehicle. That's where she went and lay down. Luckily not behind the vehicle, so we can still get out of here. As you can see, the picture is starting to look very, very grainy. So it's quite dark. It's amazing how quickly your eyes adjust to this, though. It's so quite funny. The male that separated himself from the pride, he's still not moved. Still in the same spot. Making a statement. And some of these lionesses, their eyes are starting to close again now, it looks like. The jackal has stopped alarm calling. Alrighty. So we're going to leave them here, bid them farewell. Maybe Sean comes and looks for them in the morning. So nighty night. Nice kitties. For now, we're going to send you over to David, just for an update.
Well, how awesome that you got to spend so much time with Lion. That is always a winner. Not too much new on our side since we left the dam. Just a few elephants here and there. And some nightjars on the road. And we are now just seeing what other nocturnal life we can find as the night comes alive. And other creatures come out. I suppose that lilac-breasted roller is going to have to wait until tomorrow, because we definitely won't be seeing one now. It was a beautiful sunset as always. Vibrant red. Karine, you asked a question, but I don't think I heard it right. Can you just repeat that for me, please, Em? I got the question again, and it is what I heard. Does bacon grow from a speckboom? And I don't really know how to answer that. You mean like bacon the meat, like pork? If so, then I don't think so. I'm not too sure what the meaning is. I know speckboom. I've planted a few in my garden, but I have never gone out to pick bacon from a speckboom. And I'm feeling a little bit slow here. I think I'm only just catching on to what you were saying, Karine. Are you perhaps referring to speck, which is also known as bacon? Speckboom. If so, then that was very clever. Sorry, I'm a bit slow on the uptake. I believe the South Africans are loving it. Leave it to South Africans who like a joke. A good old joke. Well, speaking of South African, it has been a wonderful South African evening, a beautiful sunset. Sunset. It's one of my other favorite things about Afrikaans is the rolling of the R's. Well, while I continue my search for whatever I can find, perhaps a piece of bacon, I'm going to send you back over to Tristan.
Well, if you find bacon in a tree, you're going to be the hero of the day, Dave. I'm afraid I can't remember the last time I saw a warthog in a tree on this particular... In fact, I don't think I've seen a single warthog in a tree in 3 years on Djuma. Just trying to think. I don't think so, which is crazy. So if David finds one, I will be impressed and thoroughly grateful and thankful, because ultimately it will mean that we'll hopefully have a leopard for a couple days, which would be nice. It's been a long time since we've had a leopard on a kill for any number of days. It's been a little bit tricky in that regard. It seems like even though the guys were finding leopards quite a lot at one point, there wasn't many that were on kills for any prolonged periods of time, which is odd, because you normally think that, especially during the rut, that you should be finding leopards with carcasses in trees, and they're killing these big males. That you would think would kind of keep them around. So I'm just checking here. This is where Shadulu was this morning. Just scanning all the big trees quickly. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Just checking the tree behind us. This is where she dragged it. Anything in that tree? Nope, nothing there, nothing there. Spice, I think so. I mean, we do have about 660,000 packets of bacon in the kitchen. I'm not sure what's happened there, but it seems the guys somehow managed to order an obscene amount of bacon over the course of the lockdown. And so I reckon we could actually build a car out of bacon with the amount of bacon packets that are in the freezers in our kitchen. I think the guys, when they did the stock take the other day, there was 57 or 58 packets of bacon. It's crazy. I promise you we don't eat that much bacon, but that's apparently what was delivered. And so, yes, we have a huge amount of bacon, and maybe we should just build a bacon tree and see if the hook or Tingana arrives to eat their bacon tree. I suspect the hyenas will ruin that party quite quickly. Okay, well, we're going to go one more time past here. I feel like I've been doing this all day, and so while we do that, I'll send you back to Rowan. He's still with the lions. I'm sure he's going to say goodnight from them.
Nigel. I think that would be an absolute waste of bacon. I think Sean would agree with me, and maybe so would Owen. But each to their own. Righty, so we are now finally getting out of the Timbavati riverbed, and we turn left, and we found a road. Just need to take the vehicle out of low range quickly. Luckily in the river we have to drive rather slow, so it hasn't been too cold. I haven't had to put on my gloves yet. Found nothing nocturnally so far. Still looking for a lilac-breasted roller. Otherwise I think I might pass that task on to Sean for tomorrow. Oh, not getting the vehicle out of... There we go. That was easy. Okay. Let's see what we can find with the spotlight. Maybe a leopard chewing on some bacon. Emma is saying I'm passing the buck on the lilac-breasted roller. Absolutely. I believe Sean can find a lilac-breasted roller. I think I might struggle finding one now. Though they'll perch in trees and they will shine quite brightly in the spotlight. Apparently Nikki owes Emma 2 pangolins. So it seems that Ngala is going into debt. Well, Anbian Ngala is quite in debt now with a lilac-breasted roller and 2 pangolins. And good luck to Nikki. At least I passed mine on. Don't know who's going to find 2 pangolins for Emma. That won't be me, Emma. I'm not going to make any such promises. Although it's not impossible. You never know. Whew, it's getting quite fresh now. I can feel my hands freezing up a little bit. Okay, Owen, what are we going to find? Leopard. Owen says we're going to find a leopard. The last 5-minute leopard. Okay, so while we look for a last-minute leopard, I'm going to send you over to David. He also just wants to say good night.
Well, I do want to say goodnight, but first let's quickly see if we can get a look at a herd of buffalo that is right here all around us, just in the trees. One crossing just ahead there in the darkness. There's that big black body. We can hear them a lot better than we can see them. They're just crashing on through the bush. Go a little bit forward. Maybe get one last look. It's been a lovely afternoon. It's lovely to spend some time at the dam. Super cool seeing that crocodile. And that interested hyena. Ooh, I can smell these buffalo. They're very musty. There he is. Right over there. There's the herd. Doing what they do best, eating. And they'll slowly carry on grazing and feeding through the night, resting here and there. Always weary, always listening, always watching. And I believe a lot of us are reminiscing about the hyena crocodile interaction. That was very special. As we left, the crocodile made his way into the water. I think he'd had enough of all the disturbance. Very, very exciting to see that interaction. Very unusual. Well, there's a little baby. That's very cute. Sticking close to Mom. It's another beautiful night out here in Africa. It was a privilege to be out here in the bush and share these beautiful sights and smells and sounds with all of you. And tomorrow morning we'll be out again. It's another day and we look forward to it. Until then, have a lovely time wherever you are in the world. Cheers.